Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rise of Salai, a Avatar Legends actual play using the rules by Magpie Entertainment. My name is ELH the Game Master, and joining me are three lovely individuals who will meet right now, because I have no announcements, because I really want to get into play. So, Matthew, if you want to start us off.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew. I play Avatar Salai, who is a female firebender from the Sun Warriors.
Very nice. Techno.
Hi everyone, I'm Techno and I am playing Lyn Zhou. She is a firebender as well, and she is joining the Avatar on her journey and trying to be an artist, and well, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, the spirit kind of did like your drawings last time, so...
This is true.
You have one like, yay!
So maybe the problem is more self-confidence than it is artistic ability, although that's up there too. You know, there's definitely a lack of artistic ability.
GM note, put Lyn Zhou in art class. Got it. All right, last but not least, Bean, what do you got going on?
Hello, I'm Bean Goblin, and I'm playing Tori-Michi, a airbender nomadic scholar, and I'm traveling with the Avatar mainly to learn from them, mainly to teach them, but also to annoy the heck out of these two.
Also, we will say that Bean is feeling a little under the weather, so if we do end early today for the sake of Bean's health, just be aware of that fact. We're going to press on as long as we can. So, we don't have an intro video done yet because I just keep forgetting to have people do assets for it, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and go forward. So where we last left off with this intrepid group is you all were on your way to Tyn City, and Tyn City is where Warlord Izan is stationed, or at least that's where he claims his throne, more or less. And the reason you're going to confront Warlord Izan is for a couple reasons. One, he kind of poisoned Shinti village, or at least his bandits did, and he's also been more or less burning the crops of nearby villages, press-ganging village people into his service, generally not being a good person, hence the title Warlord. You also are aware that the Tyn City is... I'm trying to think, I don't think anyone here has been to Tyn City, so this would be the first time any of you have seen it. So I think that's where we're going to open up, actually, is you kind of crest over a hill, and what you see before you is a sprawling assembly of what could be a fire city or a fire nation or fire island settlement that actually might rival that of the Sun Warriors' capital city. And that alone might be enough to startle Salai, because Salai, you're from the Fire Warriors or Sun Warriors city of Gucheng, which is the shining jewel of the Fire Islands right now. But what you're seeing that the architecture is very well done. You know, it looks like this place could take on a typhoon or a hurricane pretty well. It does back up to a port, so it's kind of in a cove that has ships coming in and out. You see that there are people moving about. It's not a very warlike city, like maybe you were expecting to see, you know, like turrets and parapets and, you know, all sorts of defensive structures, but there's not even a wall per se. It's just kind of, you have these little watchtowers at points where you would enter the city, but there's not a clear definition of where the city begins and ends, because there's sort of buildings that come out to what we would describe as the suburbs, if that makes sense. What you are seeing, though, is that it, again, is a bustling city. You see people moving about. You see, or at least on the way, you would hear the whisperings of what might be general fanfare and general good tidings. And if you look really, really carefully, you'd see that there are bandits, or I guess soldiers in this instance, wearing Warlord Izan's colors, just moving about the crowds and on those little watchtowers, but everything seems to be at peace. Everything seems to be strangely normal.
So I'm gonna stop my cart, well, stop it and then like just slow it down and go into like this crest off the road so we can still oversee the city, but we're not like in any major fireware or traffic, and a little bit secluded from anywhere else. and just sit and watch the city until the other two catch up.
Okay.
I think probably Salai and Lyn pull up behind them on Kemi, the eel hound that has accompanied Salai throughout most of her life. Salai sort of deftly, nimbly dismounts and offers a hand to Lyn. She takes it.
And yeah, she would take it. She's still not quite used to riding on the back of a giant eelhound. She's ridden on other cavalry beasts before, but nothing like a Kemi. So she'll take the hand and be helped down from the saddle.
I didn't expect it to be so normal.
Well, appearances can be deceiving. So I think we should discuss our plan forward. And I pull out some scrap paper and various things which have had notes on them and been scribbled out, but enough that we can draw and other such things. I've had 3 general ideas, and we can, input other ideas and plans and modify them. But I got 3 of them based off what I believe our strengths would be. So first one, I turn to Lyn, which I believe that you two would be appreciative of, since this is such a big place that any form of open aggression would be deemed very silly, is Operation Sneaky. And I just draw 3 cloaked figures. And the idea is that we keep away from the main thoroughfares, we sneak into the city, we try to disguise ourselves, we make sure we're not spotted at all to gather information. If any of us are seen in the city, especially you, Avatar Salai, it would gather a lot of attention. On the opposite of that, I go with the Avatar plan, which is the Avatars visiting the city, which would mean that you would gather a lot of attention, which means a lot of attention would be drawn from me and Lyn. So the idea of this plan is to use the fact that you are the Avatar to our advantage, use you as a big spectacle. The other one is the traveling merchant entertainers routes. We disguise ourselves not in shady disguises. We disguise ourselves with masks and festive things and just basically look like we are here to sell goods, here to entertain, and use our bending to do performances, and in those performances maybe garner some information by talking to the people in the crowd. Those are my 3 main ideas. But if anybody has any additional ideas or plans, I just pass the charcoal to both of you so that you can add or subtract from any of this. And I've also done little drawings, little festive masks, and a small doodle of Salai with a gigantic radiant circle around her, and us just sneaking in the background as 2 little stick figures.
I am both impressed by the artistry, and she sort of gestures towards this almost caricature, I assume, of Salai with that radiant halo or aureola around her. And it says, but...
I want to think that Salai just has a frowny face on, though, despite that.
I draw a frowny face on.
Well, I was going to say it seemed a little bit like reification, but I think that balances it out.
Big halo, frowny face.
I know you're not like this on the normal, and you don't normally want to capitalize on it, but in this situation, it may be a benefit to be an impressive religious figure. Now, if you don't want to do it, then we can come up with another plan. But when all of the guards, all of the officials, everyone is going to be, oh my gosh, the Avatar just popped up, we have to put our best show on. All of the illusions and fanfare are going to be aimed at you. And only you. That means we will be able to have a look at the cracks. Because they wouldn't want the Avatar to find where stuff is.
I'm still confused as to Plan C here. And she points to the little charcoal drawing, everybody doing little fire-bending dances.
Well, you see, if you think about us using Evlad Salai to knock elbows with the higher ups, the plan is to knock elbows with the people on the ground, the common day soldiers, the workers.
Okay, no. I get the point. Just we've not practiced anything. We've not done any kind of like rehearsal. We've not got costumes. We've not.
I got costumes. I just pull out costumes out of my.
Where did you get those? And
I've
that's
always
not
had
important.
them.
No, okay, sure. Look, but you're saying wow them with our fight, with our bending abilities and our acrobatics and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, but doing what?
Acrobatics and bending.
Yeah.
It's self-explanatory.
Well, yeah, but you need.
I mean, we can do some training. I'm not saying that we can't or make up a routine.
The city is right there.
Yes. There's nothing stopping us going a little bit back and then forming a routine.
No, I'm just suggesting that maybe this would have been a conversation to have like 3 days ago.
I'm sorry, I've been a bit under the weather. I've only just thought of it.
I know.
But we also have a Kemi, and sort of she gestures over at a Kemi, and she is incredibly well trained. She could perform some tricks, and the
Kemi
Kemi
gets
just sort
on
of
her
like
hind legs and just starts dancing.
yeah.
There we go.
I have
Just
more
gestures.
questions now. When
It's a
did
very
you-
rare eelhound that can dance on its hind legs.
And when did you teach her that?
She's self-taught.
So. Okay.
And you know, you can just turn your excellent martial skills into excellent display skills.
Dance and combat are quite closely aligned.
Okay, no. So to clarify, I have no issue with any of our individual abilities to do things. It's more the group activity that I feel like we'd be
I mean,
lacking.
we don't have to do a group activity because the idea is that we would cycle out. So we're always providing entertainment, and the other two are garnishing information from people who are watching us.
Oh.
Now, more shady versions of my people would use this opportunity to pickpocket. But when people are entertained, maybe some of the adults have been drinking, that sort of thing, they're loose, the lips are looser. And like, you know, you can gain a lot of information of people, and I've never done this before, ever. Don't ask me about it.
I was literally about to say you seem well versed in this.
Don't worry about it.
I kind of do, because now I feel like you have been pickpocketing people while doing this kind of thing.
No, I haven't been pickpocketing, and I told you not to worry about it. just you know, just maybe gathering information for, like, you know, bounty hunting and mercenary work for my family when I was still with my family and instead of traveling on my own, and then using
the mercenary work.
Well, yes, the Earth Kingdom's a big place. It needs mercenaries sometimes. The Michi have to eat somehow, and sometimes being entertainer is not enough.
I'm just surprised that there's this close kinship between your family history and Lyn's.
I mean,
I know that you're not mercenaries, but
I mean, I was about to take some manner of offense at that, actually. Like, we're a proud. I mean, I was about to say mercenary nation, but that's just what you.
My people are proud as well.
I feel like we're
ways.
getting way off point here. And okay, and Lyn just sort of puts her head in her hands for a minute and just runs her hands down her face. Okay, I think we should be looking at this like a military operation, and I think
that's why we had the first one, because I don't think a frontalist strike is a good idea, and sneaky like nonsense.
Yeah, but my point is,
okay,
we don't have an objective with any of these plans. We have plans.
Okay. Oh, yeah, fair, understandable.
But there's no objective to them.
So I'm gonna just put objective on one side, and I just like put 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So the first objective is to like save the people, right?
Save which people? Save them from what?
Uh,
We need if we're going to do that. And she's like, Lyn is getting fully into like her military sort of
like
persona at this point. She's like, save them from what? Save who?
I could be confused. Look of save the people.
We need specific objectives if we're going to achieve anything here, and I'm confused as to what you're. Okay, no. So, save the people. Which people? The people being poisoned. I am presuming.
The people being held hostage.
Hostage, yes.
Okay.
In order to secure the compliance of their respective villages.
Yes. So, kind of a 2-for-1 there. Okay, we're good.
So save the people is objective 1, right? We can elaborate on that point.
Well, I think that would have to be about objective 3 because
I
it would
think
require several other objectives to be met in order to enable us to secure.
We can prioritize our objectives once we know what they are.
Yes.
Right.
And
okay, so I'm going to write
them appropriately.
I'm going to write down the objectives as we think of them, and then reorder them when necessary. Right.
Right.
So, save the people. As such, we need to find the people. Right. Yeah. Logical.
Find the people.
Well, we don't know what. I just pointed the city. Where in the city are they?
Are they in the city? Wait,
Yes.
I'm right. Okay, so
A city is a big place, though.
Evidently, yeah.
She's right. I mean, they could be held in some sort of other location, outside the city.
I just pointed to the city in general. Just like anywhere here.
So, objective. I'll say 1, but I don't mean 1 I mean 1 in a numerical sense, not in a priority order.
Okay.
Objective 1 is to save the people that have been taken hostage.
Yeah.
Objective 2 is to find the people that have been taken hostage.
Yeah.
What about the Pink Death Rock? Are we going to be...
Investigate Pink Death Rock.
Yes.
All right,
there's also the Warlord. Are we going to... especially if we go with Plan 2, which is look the avatars here, are we going to engage with the Warlord in some way and bring any of this to his attention, or suggest that we know what's going on, or...
I think if we interact with the Warlord at the moment, we should do it as neutrally as possible until we have enough information. Also, I like evil steers. We have 1 objective. We have 2 objectives.
That's why I'm snickering off to the side here.
No.
Oh, we've lost Bean.
Salai, just sort of like as this is going on, looks down towards the city, sees the flow of foot traffic moving in and out, the relatively undefended civilian infrastructure of the city itself. Look at what Izon has achieved here, though.
It is not what he's achieved, but the methods he has achieved it with.
Do we know those methods? We know how he accumulates more territory for himself, but I see no guards in the city, at least nothing unusual. I don't see visible signs of oppression.
Yes, the oppression isn't here. There's no point of oppression. His heartland, his people. But people that he is bringing under his sway shall be ruled through fear.
But if we disrupt what's going on in this city, then will all these people be cast into chaos? That, I think, is another objective. We need to...
She seems chaos, and she writes it down on the list. Put a question mark next to that. She puts a question mark next to it.
Thank you. We need to find out if we should intervene and to what degree.
Especially with the fact that he is using what we have dubbed Pink Death Rocks as some sort of spiritual poison. he is tampering with forces which may be in his comprehension, may not be in his comprehension, but he has decided to anger spirits which could have lasting long-term effects. He may be thinking very short-term.
And we might do the same if we depose the rightful ruler of this entire city for achieving our own expedient ends.
Okay. So, what would you suggest then?
I don't know what I'm suggesting, but you yourself have encouraged me to look for solutions beyond the obvious, beyond the straightforward, and I'm trying to do that. And she just sort of leans over to Lyn. Am I doing it well, or is this...
I mean, you're not doing it bad. It's just...
If
I think actually you might be onto something. What's the one thing they wouldn't expect us to do?
go this diplomatically, negotiate.
No, that's the one thing we don't expect that we are going to do.
Right. So I just had a thought. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like if Izon, at the moment, he is able to maintain this, right? I point to the general city. And I think his idea is that if he does a lot of bad things, he could justifiably take over the nearby area and spread, even though he burns the countryside, but then replants it with his image. So in his eyes, even though he is doing a great evil, he's doing an even greater good. Right? But what if we could convince him that he didn't need to do that great evil to do the great good?
I think we're relying on too many assumptions. As you said, we need information before we can make any decision as to what our final objectives actually are.
Okay.
If it helps this in any way, you would hear the sound of a cart approaching from behind you. So not coming from the city, going towards the city. And if you do look behind you, you do see coming along the same path, you do see what appears to be a traveling troupe of performers of some kind.
That is most fortuitous.
Huh. Do I recognize any symbology on the performers?
That's a good question. Why? Because it's been a while. Why don't you go ahead and roll me and assess the situation? So roll with creativity, which is totally your power stat.
Roll.
Hey, you actually got a hit, so
Nice.
you get to ask me one question, and I will answer truthfully.
I didn't think that far.
Why
Do I
am I not
reckon
surprised?
Do I recognize where these performers come from? Are they like Fire Nations? Are they local to the area? Are they from distant lands? That sort of thing.
Well, I will tell you truthfully that they are wearing Earth Nation colors, and interestingly, since you are an Air Nation nomad and you have been around the block as per se, you would recognize that the symbology on their Earth Nation colors does belong to Ba Sing Se.
Do I recognize the name of the troop, or are they just like a troop from Ba Sing Se?
I would say that you
fangirl?
don't know the name of the troop per se, but
Okay.
you would recognize they are from Ba Sing Se.
I just look at amazement for a little bit and then shake my head. That's a troop all the way from Ba Sing Se. Why are entertainers all the way from Ba Sing Se over here?
To entertain people?
True. Right. But
Okay.
that seems like either they're being lured by something or they have been paid a lot to get here.
I think you're being overly suspicious.
Well, no, it's right. So, traveling entertainers that aren't recognizable could end up anywhere, right? But if you're from a major city, the only reason you would leave the major city and your main income is because there's a better income over here. Like there's a coronation or a wedding or, a party or something like that. It doesn't have to be suspicious. It's just what major event is happening down there that is attracting entertainers from as far-flung areas as Ba Sing Se.
Halfway through that excursus, Salai sort of like starts turning away, and she delves into one of the various different sacks that's sitting on your cart, and begins like rummaging through it. And she just like starting to toss things over her shoulder.
Wait, some of that's valuable in there.
Well, I need a mask. If they're from Ba Sing Se, they might. I've trained in Ba Sing Se. I've trained in the Earth Kingdom. Somebody there might recognize me.
Okay, yeah, I'll pass you a mask.
This is insufficiently festive if we're going to go with Plan 3.
So imagine the mask for Flavor is actually like one of those jester masks, but it's like crying tears in the anime style. So it's 2 strips of blue coming down across rosy red cheeks.
What sort of festive are you going for?
Not this.
Well, you did throw my mask out live, so I was not prepared. What sort of mask do you want? I have various. I have wares to sell.
Something that is energetic.
Energetic. All right.
Yes.
So, a lion mask?
Kemi doesn't really like lions. She has a history with lions.
Oh,
You mean moose lions, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
I have a tiger deer mask. I have.
Oh no, please not that.
I have a scorpion badger.
No,
Scorpion badger will do. Yes.
Okay.
And just in time, because the moment you get the Scorpion Badger mask on, the Ba Sing Se troop is within earshot, and the lead of them goes, "Oh there! Hello! Might I have a moment of your time?"
Certainly.
And they come right up to you, stop their carts. And what I would say is that you notice there are 2 individuals that are approaching you. One is a woman. She looks to be in her early 20s. She has very long black hair. Again, she is wearing Ba Sing Se colors, so lots of earthy tones, browns, yellows, a little bit of greenery. And then the one accompanying her is a gentleman, looks to be a little younger, maybe, upper teens if I had to put a number on it. He is very well built, and his vest is barely containing his pecs, is how I would put it. So he's obviously the strong man. No doubts about it. Behind them on the carts themselves are 2 more individuals. Both of them look to be maybe in their early teens, still wearing the Ba Sing Se colors. But you're seeing a variety of weapons. You're seeing a variety of animals. In fact, you think you see what could be an emu rabbit in one of the cages.
And how does the emo rabbit look here? Like,
for the people at home that maybe haven't seen an emu rabbit.
Yes, yes, indeed. So I'd like you to imagine, your standard rabbit. It's kind of just big block of fluff and big pointy ears. Now imagine that with an emu's neck and an emu's wings, and just make it a little bit bigger. And also at the end of the neck is not a rabbit's kind of cute little chompers, it's the emu beak. So it actually looks kind of terrifying. And in fact, its eyes, its blood red eyes, when they look at you, you feel as if you're staring into the soul of hell itself.
Ah, yes, an emu rabbit. Truly some of the most dangerous things. I hope they don't have a breeding pair, because they are an invasive species.
The most terrifying beast of war. And she sort of like reaches out a hand and begins smoothing it down Akemi's side. Don't worry, it's caged.
Kemi shrinks back as if they're still not safe. Like, this is still not safe. What are you doing? We need to not be here.
We're in danger zone. If it strikes now, I can't run.
They are surprisingly tasty, though.
Don't say that in front of it.
Oh, I'm not saying it in front
thinks
of
the
it.
same
I'm
thing
saying,
about you,
I know,
Yeah.
that's they're dangerous game. Let's just say that.
Okay.
That's the person that tried to hunt tiger deer last week.
They take a really long time to pluck.
Wait, you've hunted one before?
Of course.
And survived?
I'm here, aren't I?
Are any of us here?
I'm questioning reality right now.
At this point,
it was the standard training. When you're 3 years old, you get thrown out into the forest around the city, and you have to sort of fend for yourself.
Standard training?
I feel like we're getting off topic.
Standard training for your people?
No.
How is your people alive?
Well, a lot of them aren't. Only the strong survive. That's how it works. We've discussed this.
Not all Fire Nation cultures are the same, though.
No, a lot of them are a lot weaker. Yes.
So at this point, the two approaching you have stopped and are just listening, and they look at one another and go, "Well, they're interesting." And the woman kind of coughs pointedly to get everybody's attention. Goes,
Hello.
"Hello.
I'm sorry.
Let me my good Hotman.
Salutations.
I'm sorry, Hodman?
That's fine. That's fine.
It's Fire Nation for hello. I was being friendly.
Oh, I'm sorry. We haven't been in the Fire Islands long. We're still learning the local customs, as it were. So, Flamio Hotman. Okay, I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am Jacko, Jakao, and this is my good brother Okoni, Okoni, and we're just hoping to go to Tyn City over the hill over here and hopefully get a good start on our traveling circus.
So any reason why you picked these islands? You're a little bit far from home, as I just point to, nudge to the colors of their robes and the banners.
Oh, these? Well, believe it or not, we actually kind of maybe have, and Jacko is definitely like looking anywhere but at you guys, and Okoni just kind of sighs and says, we may have been banished from Bossing Side.
Oh, that's a story. I don't know if you want to tell me, but
yeah. maybe not out here, maybe like over a meal, but, no, we,
Sure, that sounds like a meal I could pay for.
You know what? I might take you up on that. But no, I mean, we're just sort of here. We've heard that Tyn City is one of the major cities. We were going to hit up Tyn City, and then we were going to go check out the Sun Warriors Gucheng. And then hopefully by that point, we'll have a better idea of what we're doing in the Fire Islands, because I still don't know. And he looks very pointedly at Jacko. And Jacko's like, all right, right. Well, are you from this city, Tyn City? Are you joining us maybe on the road?
We are traveling companions, and we were like, oh, that's a lot bigger city than we were expecting, and deciding how to adventure forward into that city.
You were right to start with Tyn City, however, because it is grossly inferior to the Sun Warriors capital, and I think that you would find it most disappointing if you went there first.
We have heard many good things about Gucheng. Interesting. Well, let me introduce the others. The scrawny one there is Nizo, Nizo, and his sister there is Teresa. And I'll let your imagination how to spell Teresa, because there's like 6 different ways. But no, everything you see here, from the weapons to the animals, we've all either captured or bought on our way to the Fire Islands.
Oh, you captured the emu rabbits?
Oh no, the emu rabbit we had to buy off a traveling salesman. We actually got a very good price for it. He said that apparently warriors, great warriors of the Fire Nation or the Fire Islands, they had to send about 50 of them out to capture one emu rabbit.
What were they, from the East Coast? Like 50? No.
How many should it take?
If they're bad warriors, like 5.
I think this may have been embellishment.
And I think Okoni kind of narrows his eyes and then looks at his hands and says, but every time I go to feed them, I feel like I am changing my fate. I'm staring death in the face. Are you sure? Not 5?
Oh no, they are death incarnate, absolutely. But if you're from a strong nation in the Fire Islands, then you don't need 50 people.
I pat Lyn graciously on the back. That sounds like you're volunteering to feed it.
Absolutely not.
She just sort of shakes her head. and just mutters to herself, I thought you killed one when you were 3.
Yeah. And I never want to be near one again. Have you seen them? They're insane.
Yes, I've seen them, but 3, come on.
There's a cluttering coming from the emu rabbit's cage, and you look as you see that it's one of them. There's 2 of them. One of them is about to break out of the cage.
That
dear.
one's about to break out the cage. Is anybody earthbenders around here?
And I suppose that Salai will actually, just almost instinctively on seeing that, try to raise up a wall of earth or rock to block off the part of the cage that's about to be knocked in or knocked out.
Okay. You know what? I think we'll let this be a roll, because I can see this being potentially funny, potentially game-changing, based on how you roll. Give me a rely on your skills and training, so that's going to be with a focus.
I quickly scroll a note that I will pass to Salai after this engagement. Not
And
long.
chat, hands up who thought we were actually going to get into the city this episode.
It wasn't going to happen. All right, but a 7. A 7 means you're going to do it imperfectly. So you're going to do it just not the way you're expecting. So what I'll tell you is that I see one of 2 possibilities, and you don't have to take either possibility. You can simply take either a fatigue or maybe even a condition, depending on how far you want to go. But here's what I have in mind. Option 1 is you do seal the cart that's containing the animals within a wall of earth, but the problem is you let a little bit too much firebending in, so it's not like lava walls, but it is definitely tinged with a little bit of fire, if that makes any sense. The second option I see is that you do manage to create containment on the emu rabbit cage, but you also knock over the cart in the process.
So they're not escaping, but they can't be moved.
Correct.
Yeah, I think I'll knock over the cart as well. Just in this this flurry of activity and in the shock of the moment, terror overwhelming her at the face of this monstrous creature that is about to break free, she overexerts herself, and maybe even you see that little flicker of white in her eyes as she partially enters into the avatar state under the extreme emotional duress of the situation. And you see this massive mound of earth just erupt over the cart and destabilize it, as well as sealing the creature in, if I may, sort of poeticize it.
Yeah, and Jacko and Akone go, whoa, 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 wow, you're a really good earthbend, wow.
Yes.
And then slip you the note that says, basically, don't use firebending, or they'll figure out you're the avatar.
And I think she barely even conceals the fact that she's looking at this note. She just opens it up right there, and then nods, folds it up, just like very slowly and casually tucks that into a front pocket.
I must dispose of this note.
No one must know.
You're an earthbender now.
But yeah, Akone's gone over to the fallen over cart, and you see that he is doing his own earthbending, but even you, Salai, who may not be a prodigy earthbender per se, you can tell that his technique is not great. It's almost as if he's entirely self-taught. There's a lot of things he's doing, like he's not stamping the ground like you should, he's not breathing properly, he's just... To put it one way, he is basically using the force of will to do what he's doing rather than the actual flow of energy through his body. But as Akone is doing this, Jacko just kind of turns to the 3 of you and goes, all right, well, you've probably just prevented the massacre of Tyn City at the hand of emu rabbits. But yeah, I mean, after we get the cart fixed and we get the animals back in their cages properly, do you all want to join us in Tyn City? We'd love to have you. And I think one of you offered to, buy us a meal, and we can tell you our story about Ba Sing Se.
Certainly. That sounds lovely.
Cool.
I think you said you wanted a meal. I don't think we offered to buy it for you.
No, I offered to buy it for them.
Oh, you're paying. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
she is really
darling.
the only one of us that has money.
I mean, that's a good
Yes.
point.
Don't expect an expensive meal, by the way, because if I buy from all of you, this is going to be a little bit more expensive.
Well, beggars can't be choosers.
Mm-hmm.
But I will have to beg one thing. I didn't get any of your names.
Oh, I'm Tori. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, I'm Lyn. Hi.
And I'm
This is Salai.
Sal.
Sal. Okay. So Sal,
just-
Tori-Michi, and Lyn. Okay.
I just, while they're not looking at me, I look at you and just blink. You could have just shortened your name. Yes. Heading into the city, yes?
Yeah, well, like I said, come on, Okone, put your back into it. And Okone shouts, I am putting my back into it. That's the problem.
I think you need to have a wider stance.
And Sal just sort of like shakes her head vigorously and starts stalking over to him. No. Plant your feet. Wider stance.
And he does so reluctantly. He says, like this?
Yes. Now, don't think that you're forcing the earth to obey you, because it's not a struggle. You're not fighting it. It obeys you.
But isn't that imposing my will over it?
No. There's a difference between trying to command somebody and knowing that you have the authority to control them.
This is all very confusing.
Anyone who has to say that he is king is not a king. You have the right to rule it. You have the control over it. It's instinctive. It's natural to you. It's not something you have to exert. That's the difference. It's about mentality.
And he blinks a few times, shakes his head, and goes,
I go, how about this? You yell from your gut, not from your throat.
I mean, it can't hurt.
okay. And he stomps his feet. He thrusts his right hand forward, palm out, and he goes, ha! And he actually shaves off one side of the barrier you've erected over the cart. And the good news is that it doesn't take the cage or part of the cart with it. It's one slab of rock has been completely sheared off. And he goes, wow, you two are good teachers.
Thank you.
First time anyone said that to me, but all right.
You did well, Sal. As I go pat you on the back, I'll get into Lyn.
And although you can't see it, she's sort of scowling underneath that mask.
And Coney goes, all right, let me try this again. I gotta do it at least twice more before we can get the cart out. Ha! 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 Okay, I think I got it. Yeah, okay. Nizo, help me with the cage. Let's get this cage working. And while they're working on the cage and making sure the cart's perfectly fine, Jacko, the woman, comes up to you all and goes, so, I don't mean to be rude, but why the mask?
It's part of our act.
Oh, you're actors. You're performers as well.
Yes, and you see that Akemi, the eelhound, there we go, just sort of like starts dancing into frame.
I see, and
Lyn's
a very
just,
impressive
just
act.
going to just. Oh, why are we doing plan 3?
Now,
And then-
what do you call this act? I mean, our star act is the Crouching Lashapew.
It's a work in progress.
Okay, do you need help with the name? Because I'm really good at names.
No, that was the name.
A work in progress?
Yes, that is exactly what we have always called our act.
I mean, I can't dispute that. It's
It has a long and venerable history.
I'm just giving the sign. We're newly formed. Just you know, if that hasn't been shown already, she just sounds a bit, touchy about that fact. If you know what I mean.
I see. Well, if you wanted a little bit of advice, you need to spice it up, and there needs to be pizzazz. There needs to be gumption to the name. How about? I got it. What if we called it the Dancing Zapparang?
But it's an eelhound.
Why?
Well, I mean, the eelhound is dancing, and looking at Lyn here, I can tell that they're a firebender, or at least from the Fire Islands. Maybe they could add a little fire, a little spice to the performance.
I mean, I could. That's true. I am a firebender.
Ooh.
Yes, and yes.
We
And with
could
my
make it
earth
the dance
bending?
of the 4 elements. And even though we don't have a waterbender, I could manipulate the air to make a flurry of water.
Well, maybe Akemi represents the water
Oh,
because of her fluid motions, and you see her sort of like undulating and dancing.
I've just got a vision now of just hula dancing, and that's all. It won't leave, and you're responsible for that, Matt.
Look at that sinuous motion.
I mean, I could take your fire and like spin it around us, you know, and like have it highlight each person's like dance routine.
Right, and I raise and lower the earth under each person who's being highlighted.
Who's yeah. Just get
This
really,
is a good plan. I'm happy to be part of it.
just get really enthusiastic with it.
And you see that Salai is actually strangely invested in this plan. Strangely eager, I suppose.
I feel like Lyn's got turned into the Scowly one. It's like
Lyn is just in disbelief at this point, just resigned disbelief.
do I see from here like a place where like an inn or like street vendors or somewhere that we can go eat in the city?
So no roll required, because again, you have a nice vantage point on your hill. Yeah, there are a number of inns. There are a number of carts and food stalls that are kind of erected along the main thoroughfares. You do know that something I omitted earlier is that towards the center of the city is a statue, but it's not a statue of Warlord Izan, or at least you're pretty sure Warlord Izan's a gentleman, not a woman, because it is a statue of a woman of some kind, but you can't really make out the details or the what's the word I want? You can't make out the finer points of the model from here. You can just tell that it is a feminine shape.
It's a feminine shape in like Fire Nation regalia sort of thing. We can't really make any.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, I think.
All right. So I point to one of like the food establishments. Well, since you're gonna take a little bit longer to get to the city, if we meet you up there.
Sure, yeah. Looks like they're selling fire flakes of some kind.
I mean, I hear there's smoky goodness.
Lyn definitely perks up at the mention of fireflakes.
Yeah, once we get our cart going and we get it settled in, we will meet you at that stall. She turns to Lyn. Goodbye, Hotman?
Close enough. Yes.
And then she returns to help her troop out.
I mean, it's actually Smokio.
Smokio.
It's not Flame Me Off?
No, it's not Flame Me Off. That's only in the northeast.
Oh, okay.
Or, you know, fan out.
No, fan out's the southwest.
I've never actually heard that one.
Oh, it's pretty common, actually. I think it's gaining some notoriety. You might hear it in the city.
It's cultural decay.
Okay, look, we can go with fan.
Okay. Like stars in the eyes, Tori-Michi is just like super excited, vibrating. we have a concept of routine. And I just get like the scrap paper which had all of the notes. I just start doodling like poses and stuff for like each person and going over a brief routine and just like hyperventilating, excitingness, just like I'm just a ball of like unassailable, just yes. I think I've described it well with no words because that's what I'm not using right now.
And you see sort of Salai drops down next to you and she picks up a piece of charcoal that you've left out there and begins like making notes next to you and offering suggestions and innovations to the various different moves. And you can see because the mask only covers the forefront of her face, there's this slight dimpling in her cheeks that suggests that she is actually smiling in a more natural fashion than you've seen previously.
Okay, so
Lyn is just going to just sort of lean, sort of not exhausted, just very tired, sort of collapsed on her sort of pole arm, and she's just sort of going to sort of turn her head towards Akemi, who I presume is still dancing, and just
Akemi
say,
stopped at this point.
"Oh, okay, good," and just go, "How are you on board with this? This is insane. This is madness personified."
I start getting out costumes for everyone.
They're going to put you in some kind of wig. You realize that? Yeah.
Do you think Akemi would look good in a wig?
See, I told you.
I
you know
think
she's
that
only
Akemi, it would be
got
beautiful in
blonde ones.
anything.
Fair. Oh, ribbons. So we can like have the ribbons twirl around and other such things, but also we can set them on fire.
If you bring ribbons near me, then I'm going to set you on fire.
Yes, we're not setting part of my eelhound on fire. That's where I would draw the line.
But like, right. So I get out a staff with like ribbons on it, and set up a torch, and then do a dance move which has the ribbons twirling and stuff. And and halfway through it, I have the ribbons catch on fire, and then continue the rest of the dance until the ribbons have depleted. So it goes from like a very graceful sort of twirly ribbon movement to like this very more fast-paced, not death-defying because there's not a lot of fire, but you get what I mean by that.
I really feel like this should be a roll somehow.
I'm willing to make it a roll.
I mean, are you actually attempting this right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think this is going to be a push your luck.
Yes.
So this is going to be with passion, please.
I am going to spend a fatigue and roll excellence.
Fair enough.
Is there any way I can get any more bonuses with this?
Well, technically, someone can assist you by marking a fatigue, but they can do that after the roll.
I'm going to mark a fatigue and assist, because I feel like Lyn would see Tori-Michi like doing all these sort of spin moves with basically like a staff, and she'd just beside herself with the idea of doing this, but also just unable to stop herself. She's just going to walk forward and be like, no, look, if you're going to spin something that long, you need to get that. And she's just going to sort of like demonstrate with her own pole arm and just show her these sort of like spinning the pole around the neck and around the back and that kind of thing.
Hey!
That is a 13. So, yeah, what that means is that you get it completely down pat between the two of you. In fact, you actually notice that you've drawn the eye of Jacko, Oconee, Nizo, and Teresa. They've stopped what they're doing and kind of are watching in awe at your performance. And what I'm going to tell you is that since you did roll so high, the lucky opportunity that lands in your lap is that they very much believe your alibi at this point. They are fully convinced that you are indeed a performing troupe.
Just amateurs at this point, because we have no plan, we just have skill.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like that should be so instead of using the torch, is that you can actually light the ribbons on fire. Because
Fine.
that also shows the aggression of fire.
I mean, yes, it does.
Yes.
Go on.
Yes, you could heat up the tip of your spear to set it on fire. You don't have to do overt firebending. You could do it subvertly. Because right. So you do all of the spectacle dance with the firebending, but what really surprised people is a surprise. Like they expect the wisp of fire to set things on fire, not the tip of your spear. So if you get it hot enough, and I get
what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. And beside her, despite herself, rather, Lyn is starting to get invested in this more than she should. But she's very much like, yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, we could definitely do that. And maybe it'd be more something like this. And she starts doing her own sort of spin on the move. And Yeah, and now she's invested herself, and there's no stopping her.
Right. So we have a Kemi in the middle, right? Right.
Kemi starts
Centerpiece.
dancing.
Wait, weren't we supposed to be doing like doing this one at a time?
Oh, that's the sort of idea I have, right? So Kemi's in the center, as a centerpiece that is continuously dancing, right? And then we have 3 rings, and the person who is in focus is the person on the outer ring. So the people on the inner rings, either the middle ring sets up for the outer ring, and the inner ring is resting or preparing for their part, and then we cycle through, so the person on the outer ring becomes part of the inner ring while we dance between each other. So we dance in a circle as well. And I just start drawing diagrams which don't actually have any meaning, but
Literally, you're just doing this on a page with charcoal.
You've literally invented the concept of a 3-ring circus. Well done.
Yes. And then, so that's going to be like the main part of it. So we need a beginning, and then we need an end. And I feel like we should have Sal be on top of a Kemi somehow, and we have Lyn put flames behind us to like illuminate that, and then I have to do something. I haven't figured that out yet.
Coney shouts from over next to his cart, "You could always try juggling something. Swords are a good trick."
I could juggle something. I could juggle flaming ribbons.
How would you juggle flaming ribbons?
Well, I get a ball and I wrap ribbons around it.
Right. Yeah, I shouldn't have asked, and yet here we are.
And then, so what I do is, as using airbending, I use twisting winds, so that whenever I catch the ball, it's always on the bit which is not on fire. So it looks like at any moment I could like catch any of the flaming ribbons. But basically, I'm juggling these ribbon balls and using twisting wings to keep the flames alight, but not enough that it burns the entire ball of ribbon.
I think all of us are just staring at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So
I hate to interrupt, and she actually does sound a little bit apologetic, but she points to the coterie of individuals that we have met. They're probably by this point starting to make their way towards the city.
Yeah, they're about halfway down the hill at this point.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had an idea with that, because I think our first thing is just to gather as much information as possible. So maybe we can use our newfound friends to gather information, but not like just general information, because they're wanting to know about the area. We're wanting to know about the area. They want to know about it because, they want to be better performers. We want to know about it because of stuff that we talked about earlier. So I think that works, because I just look at the objectives. It's kind of hard to organize these until we know what's going on. And I think we need to figure out what's going on. And I think
that was pretty much objective number 3 in the list, but chronologically it has to be first. Objective number 1, which is gathering information.
And I think I draw objectives and then put that first, and then put the other objectives in balls like a spider diagram underneath. And okay, so this is the first objective, and then when we find points of each objective, we write off pros and cons of each of them, that sort of thing. Yeah. And I'm so glad I got a 2-for-1 deal on paper. I really did.
At this point, you just have a bunch of red string that's tapped to each of the little parchment pieces.
You see, I have these 2 bits of sticks, and we pull them up, and then it becomes a wall, and then we're able to just tap the wall.
No, I mean, Steve is right. For a while, I really was wondering if you were just going to become wandering entertainers. Maybe that's the new point of the campaign. Is you're just
Where did the Avatar go?
The rise of Salai's traveling circus.
Sal's traveling circus.
Sal's traveling circus. Yeah.
Ah,
When the mask is
on.
on, it's Sal. When the mask is off, it's Salai. There you go.
It's canon now.
You see, it would be a very different story if Bruce Wayne fought crime and Batman was the billionaire.
What a
So we're going to
disturbed
skip
universe.
ahead just a little bit. Just a little
Oh, thank
bit.
God.
Oh.
We're going to skip ahead just a little bit to you all arriving in the city proper. Again, there are no guards you have to pass. There are no, like, big gates you have to walk through. You just kind of walk through the suburbs. You walk towards the indicated stand where you were going to meet the Crouching Lashapu performers. And yeah, again, you were maybe expecting to see looks of fear, looks of subservience, you know, signs that these people are being oppressed, but they're all in high spirits. They're all very much talkative. They're very much, you know, jovial, going about their business as if it's a normal day. But two things stand out to you as you go to this Fireflake stall. The first is you have a straight shot down the main boulevard to see the statue. Now that you're closer to the statue, you recognize some of the features. And Salai notices them more than anyone else because it does look to be somebody has erected a statue of Avatar Salai in the middle of Tyn City.
I'm really glad that I wore this mask.
I mean, on the plus side, they really captured, you know, the vitality of your motion and
But the nose is
I mean, noses are hard.
I wouldn't know. I'm not an artist.
I mean, you know, arguably I'm not either, which is why I can speak with some authority on the subject. It looks like you. You know, I mean, the nose aside.
And Salai just turns over to Akemi. What do you think? She like looks at it from a different angle. You're right, they did get my jaw. That's actually impressive work. Jawline's perfect.
It's pretty good. As far as massive statues of you go, it's definitely the best one I've seen.
I would put it at top 3.
That's weirdly specific, but okay.
Okay, well, it is specifically 3.
Well,
Bring up my point again that all Lord Izon, or just Lord Izon, considers what they're doing to be morally good, which most people do. Most people consider their actions like, but they're not conquering as a tyrant. They're conquering as a liberator. It's just that their methods are abhorrent, and this is why we're like, you know, a little bit off to the side so nobody can hear us.
Can I actually do some kind of check, please? Like, and assess the situation. I know you said we didn't see any like guards or like anybody, any kind of like gates or defenses for the city or, you know, whatever. But can I do an assess the situation to see if there's anything that's like hidden, like not as apparent? Like there is like guard houses that are forming part of the like the townhouses that are around us, kind of thing. You know, they're like disguised, so it's not so, you know, so there is like security there, but it's not as obvious to anyone that's not looking for
walls,
it.
but garden walls that are common in, you know.
I think you know what
China.
you're going here.
Yeah.
I don't think a roll's required because that was kind of going to be my second thing that you'll notice. Is that 1, you notice the statue of Avatar Salai. 2, you notice that the differentiation between the normal person wearing, you know, reds and yellows and things of that nature, and the actual warriors or the, you know, peacekeeping forces, they sort of blend in. So it's one of those that if there are people who are nominally part of the defense force of the city, they're all very much plain clothes. You wouldn't be able to like say, oh, that person obviously has a spear hidden behind them, but that person doesn't, but I know the way they walk looks like they're one with authority, if that makes any sense.
It's all in the shoes. You can always tell someone regimented by the shoes they wear.
Oh, please do tell.
Well, I mean, just look. And she sort of gestures towards a crowd of people.
You mean like traveling shoes? I have similar shoes, but
No. Look at my shoes.
okay.
Now look at their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Shoes.
Yes, they are. They look like sturdy shoes that you would want to walk in a lot, rather than fancy shoes like that guy over
No,
there. I point
that-
to Snowball.
She's not Fire Nation. She wouldn't understand.
No, I mean... You're right.
Maybe you should explain rather than just,
Okay, right.
assuming
That's not really in keeping with Fire Nation ethos generally either, which commands us to maintain an aura of smug superiority.
Yeah, but if I don't explain it to her, then she's just going to keep asking.
That is true, yes.
Right, okay. Look at my shoes.
Okay.
They're well maintained.
Right.
They're,
Yeah.
the leather is oiled and suppled, and it's not overly worn despite the amount of traveling we've been doing, right?
All right. Yeah.
Now look at your shoes.
I need new shoes. I pick my shoes, throw them out, get a new pair of shoes, put them on.
Right. Look at those shoes then.
Yep.
And they're just shoes. They're not like well maintained. They're not, I mean, they're fine, but they're not like, you didn't wake up this morning and polish your shoes, did you?
No, because I was training.
Is that what you're calling it? Okay.
I'm sorry that airbending looks different from firebending, but I get up, do an hour of training while performing other activities, then have breakfast, then prepare my cart, do my breathing exercises to then pilot the cart, which is also training, by the way. I do a lot of training, which is disguised as other things. Just because I am doing stuff doesn't mean I'm not training. Thank you very much.
But what you're not doing right now is listening, and you're not looking.
Okay.
Right. So, knowing now that my shoes
Well maintained.
well maintained,
Yes.
and what am I? I am
a soldier.
Yes. Now, what are you?
A scholar and a traveling nomad.
Right. But you're not a soldier.
Okay.
And your shoes. Now apply that to everyone around us.
I'm looking at everybody's shoes, but I think that's a little too much information.
Sal, help. You can see what I'm getting at, right?
Yes, but I mean, it's not as obvious as you make it out to be fair.
Okay. The point is, Tori, that there aren't guards that are obvious.
Okay.
That there are guards that are mixed in with the populace.
And to the members
like
of the
the
populace
Dai
who are like you and can't
what?
see it, that means
The
that
Dai.
everyone is a potential adversary.
The secret police of Ba Sing Se?
I've not been to Ba Sing Se.
I thought that Dai Li's reputation was probably is only well known throughout the Earth Kingdom, to be fair. Set up by Avatar Kyoshi, the Dai Li are the secret police of the Earth Kingdom. Emperor.
Salai's before Kyoshi.
Sorry?
Salai's
I do
before Kyoshi.
I do apologize. Never mind, I never said any of that. I'm a fortune teller, what can I say?
It's all good.
As that conversation is going to go on, Sal is going to pull away from the group slightly and just casually examining the statue as somebody passes her. She's going to stop the person and ask, sorry, why is there a statue of Avatar Salai here?
And the gentleman, he kind of goes, "Oh, don't you know? I mean, Lord Izon has constructed it in the hopes that the Avatar will visit one day and see the good that he has done for the Fire Islands."
Oh? I'm new here. I'm from the Earth Kingdom. And she starts doing a little earthbending performance. Traveling performer with a troupe, and I had no idea that the Avatar was held in such high esteem in Tyn City.
Well, of course. I mean, the reason he's done everything that he's done is to gain the Avatar's respect.
Oh, what has he done?
Well, he's united the entire northwestern side of the Fire Islands. This is a grand cultural center where we even have ships from the Southern Water Tribe that come all the way here to trade goods.
Oh, a place of intercultural exchange.
Exactly.
He sounds like he is incredibly noble.
He certainly has never allowed anyone to commission a painting or a statue of him. He's a very humble person.
That is the mark of an excellent leader, she says with exactly that amount of trepidation.
Well, I hate to be a bother, but was there anything else you wanted to know? I'm kind of expected somewhere else.
Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. I think I have everything I need.
No, good day to you. Since you're
Pardon me,
not from
Hotman.
around here, flame off.
Thank you.
And then he goes about his merry way.
I feel like Sal coming back to the conversation. I flipped the conversation around as I start pointing out subtle things that you would pick up from being a nomad, of like, this person's from this area because of the embroidery of the way they wear their head and stuff.
That's how you can tell that
that-
person over there has a heavy corn purse.
Lyn would be just like, yes,
Pennies.
but the boots aren't right. Look at the boots, though.
Yeah, but that person's clearly a merchant from the western part of the Earth Kingdom.
merchants
doesn't
don't. Merchants don't wear knee armor.
But he's looking the part
Of what?
of a Fire Nation. Remember, he's a merchant from a distant land. He's trying to look the part so he's more relatable to his customers. Whether if that is working or not is completely irrelevant to his, success.
But you can see surely you can see that those aren't just show boots. Those are worn military boots, though.
Well, when I said that my family was mercenaries, that area of the Earth Kingdom requires mercenaries to deal with bandits a lot. So he may have also, fought many battles, or at least participated in them.
If that was the case,
Right.
wouldn't he have purchased better boots?
It may have some significance to his history that he doesn't want to get rid of.
Sentimentality is not a very fitting trait for an effective mercenary.
Oh no, the guy's a merchant. You can tell by his entourage and and his coin purse.
But he's not a merchant, though. That's my point.
Well, couldn't he be both?
Ay.
That is technically true.
Like, he could have been a successful mercenary / soldier and then became a merchant.
Why would you suggest that he couldn't be both simultaneously?
Or both simultaneously. Maybe one is to feed the other. Like, he's a merchant so he can, perform his mercenary troop stuff. Or he's a mercenary so he can, trade distant dangerous lands.
Maybe one is his vocation and the other is a hobby.
Which is up to you.
Yes. I don't judge him for that.
So,
I do.
but what I'm saying is that, I understand that well-maintained boots is a sign of a soldier. I'm just saying that there's other things that,
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that you can my point is, these aren't people with nobody guarding them. These are people where the guards are part of the crowd.
I mean,
So-
I've been to a few places like that.
Yeah, okay, sure. But what's it? If you can't see the guards, then everyone's a guard, right? So you don't know who to trust, and you don't know who to talk to, and you behave, right?
Right? But then also, if you don't see them, but also they keep the peace, wouldn't that give you a sense of security as well?
I mean, it could, but this entire conversation is giving me a headache.
This entire city has given me something of a headache, actually. Apparently, And she just sort of gestures out towards that statue. As far as I can tell, I'm being used as a propaganda tool. I suppose I should have realized that as soon as I saw the giant statue of me.
Oh, do tell.
Warlord Izon is supposedly acting in accordance with my wishes, or at least philosophically is doing so. He hopes to bring unity, which is the very objective of the Avatar.
Okay, so let's put this into two schools of thought. He is either what we think he is, or what people think he is. If he is the first, then he's just using a facade. If it's the second, it doesn't mean, even though he's, uniting the northern parts of these islands, it doesn't mean that he knows the methods his generals are doing. Because his generals could be the ones who are using underhanded tactics, and reporting to him, we have peacefully conquered another village. I mean,
How do
those
you
two...
peacefully conquer someone?
Oh, through diplomacy, I suppose. Liberated, whatever flowery language they're using.
Well, haven't you defeated an enemy if you've made him your friend?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yes.
No, you've just got a friend that you need to watch your back with.
That is a suitably cynical response. It's also entirely possible that he legitimately thinks that he's doing something good by conquering people and taking their families hostage, which sounds a little bit ridiculous when you put it that way, but
There it is, I suppose, yeah.
What I'm saying is we should find out if he is aware of everything that's going on. Because if you think about it this way, he may be on top of the pyramid or the temple or the hierarchy. It doesn't mean that he knows everything is going down here. He doesn't know that this merchant by here is selling the best hot flakes or the worst hot flakes in all of the city. Because he never ventures down here. He never goes, where his generals may not want him to see. Or he may be very observant of what's going on.
If it's the former, if he doesn't know what his generals are doing in his name, then he's not the one in charge.
And he's not the one responsible for their actions. Maybe the generals are doing it because they think that's the best way about going through it.
As if the GM wants to provide another bit of squirrely info for you, you hear a commotion further up the street. When you look, you see that there is a noticeable entourage of honor guards that is surrounding in two columns one gentleman. Now, this gentleman looks to be in his 30s, 40s. He has a very long white beard, almost like the same one the sensei has from Kill Bill. So that kind of wispy sort of goatee thing going on. He looks to be in good shape. He is moderately well muscled. His body is at least toned, as it were. He's also wearing what appears to be not a classical Fire Island ensemble, but something that you would expect a noble person to wear. So maybe a little bit more embroidery, a little bit more finery, sort of waylaid into the fabric. And as he's walking along with his honor guard, every once in a while someone will go, "Ah, Lord Izon, hello, hello," and he'll call back, "Yes, hello there, citizen, hello." And sometimes he'll use actual names, like he'll name, "Yes, hello there, Tyn, how are you doing?" "I'm doing well, thank you." And, it's one of those things where this is very much he is being seen by his people situations.
And his people seem to like him quite a lot as well.
Correct, yes. It seems that every time you see someone interact with his honor guard, it's, again, not out of fear, not out of trepidation. They are actively approaching and trying to get his attention, almost in not quite a fanatical way, but in very much a I look at this person and respect them kind of a way.
I have a squirrely idea. I am going to, not so I trip up any of the honor guard or anything like that, but run across the streets to my cart and trip halfway through
Okay.
So I
I'd like-
trip in front of the cart.
Before Bean does this, I really feel like Salai and Lyn are going to be standing at the side of the road where we were, and Lyn's just got to turn to both of them and say, "Okay, whatever we do now, we're going to have to plan this really carefully. We're going to have to know exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to approach this, because this could be our only chance to talk to. Where's Tori?"
And Tori has fallen into the street in front of the procession.
Basically, I want to challenge his like, whether it's a facade or not, his like good nature. I'm not purposely getting in the way of any of his guards and stuff, but it's like in his path and quite obvious that he will see it.
Right. I get what you're doing. So the lead part of the honor guard do start making motions as if to get you out of his way, but Izan holds up a hand and they back off. He approaches you, kind of takes a half knee and offers out a hand and says, "Well, hello there, citizen. You must be new to the city."
Oh, hello there, Lord Izan. I'm Tori. I just like look around as his guards. I gingerly go to like take his hand to help me up.
"Oh, yes, here, back on your feet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you quite
Lordship.
all right? Should I have one of my healers come and check you out?"
Oh, I'm quite robust. I do a deep bow, but of the Air Nation rather than of any like stereotypical, like the sort of like fist in the hand sort of bow. I do apologize. I was having some fireflakes and the spice got the better of me, and I was trying to get some water. I do apologize I bow and like step back.
No need to be so flustered. This place is known for its fireflakes, after all.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt or intrude on you, Fire Lord Izo, but this is one of the best cities I've seen this side of the islands.
Oh,
You must
well, that's
be
very
quite
kind
proud
of you,
of it.
Nomad Tori. It's actually a person of personal pride that Tyn City is a gleaming jewel of what the Fire Islands United could be.
Oh, but I wouldn't want to oppose in any way, shape, or form. I am a traveling scholar. By any chance, would I be able to talk to any of you people about the history that led up to this? Because it must have not been like this continuously. I'm imposing myself. I do apologize.
It's quite all right. But where are you staying? I can send one of my people to come collect you, and perhaps we can have a spot of tea together. I do have some tea leaves from the Northern Air Temple.
Oh, that is quite embarrassing. I have yet to find an establishment to stay at. Me and the companions.
Then might I recommend the Dancing Lion over there? They have great beds, and they are very cheap in comparison to some of the others.
Oh, I shall take your recommendation into full-heartedness. I will, in fact, go to that establishment. Thank you, your lordship.
Of course. Have a pleasant day. And then, unless you waylay him further, his honor guard once again form a corridor, and he continues on his way.
I sort of rush myself down, go get the water so that anybody watching, I don't just divert from my story and then come back to the party.
So, Tori,
Yes.
do you think that was a wise course of action?
I mean, possibly not.
If that's your response now, after you've undertaken it, surely you were no more certain before you undertook it.
I just wanted to get a grasp of the character. That is the person that we are interested in.
I understand your objectives. It's your methodology that I'm calling into question.
Surprise is a great display of character. and he had two options in front of him, either be benevolent or malevolent, and he justifiably could have been both in one of those. And the consequences of him being malevolent in that regard would have been a sound kick by one of his honor guard, or a stern talking to. The cost to my
or
well-being...
imprisonment, or public beheading, or...
I look around at the city. Such severe punishment would disperse from his good name.
You
and his
hoped.
And if imprisonment and execution was upon to it, I would have fled. And then we would have got a true grasp of his character.
Well, now that you have a grasp of his character, because you've interacted with him directly, what conclusions have you reached?
He seems like a genuinely nice person. Any lord which would have had a hint of malice or a facade of benevolence would have twinged at the thought of a random, potentially street urchin divulging into their path. Can I actually make an insight roll?
I would say that you can just make that assumption for now.
Okay. As far as I can tell, he is not a man that is putting up a facade of benevolence, whether that's his self all the time.
Then he doesn't seem to be the sort to concoct some sort of pink death rock, spiritual poison, and inflict it upon neighboring villages.
If that is his plan, it's a plan of a point that he is doing it for the greater good. A necessary evil to the path of something greater.
Perhaps our next course of action then should be to find out where they're coming from?
Yes. Though I believe we have gotten a recommendation for a lovely inn which is cheap and has nice beds.
Well, that sounds suspicious. How could it have both?
We'll have to find out, because I said I would stay there. Let's go!
Don't make promises you shouldn't keep.
I was planning to keep it, because if he was going to interact with me further, he would have to have a place to interact with me.
I didn't say that you weren't planning on keeping it. I said that you shouldn't keep it. Because any place that promises cheap and yet high-quality beds, and she looks over at Lyn, isn't that like the definition of some kind of scam?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
It's like you can have either expensive and good quality beds, or cheap and poor quality beds.
Or
How can you have
maybe
both?
the bedding is so cheap around here that even high quality stuff is cheap.
Well, that would be another mark in his favor.
That
Your worldview is just
That
utterly
always-
perplexing.
or he's been there before and he likes it.
How do you maintain this positivity and this generally just optimistic outlook?
Because if I didn't, then I would be just sour all the time.
I feel like, and she says this sort of aside to Salai, I kind of feel like that was almost an attack on one of us, or both of us.
I was going to say probably both.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should get going, not realizing I've made an attack in any way, shape, or form. Just blissfully just stepping forward. Well, maybe you both could start teaching me about some Fire Nation culture and etiquette, so I know how to do it while we go, here.
I
in the
think
city.
we've been instructing you in that for quite some time, but you
Have
haven't
you
actually
doing
learned
this
any of
for
our
weeks?
lessons.
What have you been listening to, if not that?
I've been focusing on my airbending.
And on
See,
that note, I think that is where we will draw today's episode to a close. Oh, Lord. I love this group. This group always brings a smile to my face. I love it.
Look, I'm a prodigy for a reason. I only focus on the thing I'm training, not what people are teaching me.
Oh no, it's
until
all good.
until I decide to learn it.
It's all good. All right, well, thank you all for a lovely game. Before we wrap up, though, we do need to do growth questions. Though I actually have a question. Would you rather do the growth questions at the end of next session when you've had a little bit more time in Tyn City? That way you might answer more of those questions. Or would you like to do growth questions now and maybe only get one or two?
I like it at the end of every session, personally, because we remember the sessions more.
Okay.
That's if we do it over two sessions, it could be the case that both sessions answer the same question.
Also a possibility, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And occasionally we've gone quite a few weeks without playing, so
Also true.
it'd be rather difficult to sort of collate those two.
Okay, then we'll do them now. We'll just go down the line. So, did you learn something challenging, exciting, or complicated about the world? Yeah, you did. So that's one yes. Did you stop a dangerous threat or solve a community problem? I don't think so. At least I wouldn't count dropping in front of Ezon to be a community problem.
We did. Salai did stop the emu rabbits from getting loose and murdering everybody.
You know what? That's valid. You know what? That you can have a growth for that. That is completely valid.
Yeah, I get growth.
Is that a growth for Salai, or is that a growth for all of us?
Did you guide?
It's collective.
It's collective.
Okay.
Did you guide a companion towards balance or end the session at your center? I think that's a no for everybody because everybody's off center. And then your individual growth, Salai's growth question is, did you accomplish a feat worthy of your burden and tradition? I can't give you Emu Rabbit for that, unfortunately. Let's go to Lyn's growth question. Lyn's growth question is, did you learn something meaningful or important about your lineage, its members, or its effects on the worlds and others? Maybe?
I mean, we discussed it. I don't know if we found anything.
Yeah, I don't think so personally.
Okay. Then let's go to Tori. Tori, your growth question is, did you express gratitude to a companion for their presence, support, or teaching? I think you did at least once.
Yeah. And especially when I got excited about the dance-off that we have planned. So I've gotten all 4 points in. So then do I just unfill 3 because, you know
yeah, you would clear the track and then you would start it again.
Yeah. Okay. So I gained a growth and I'm now on 1 point of growth.
Yes. And if you need me to walk you through growth, I'll stick around after the session and walk you through it. But for stream purposes, this is where we're going to tune out. So Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody. But YouTube, we'll see you next time. Bye, YouTube.